127. 127. Hope you guys are doing good. We have a special show today here in the Four Corners Project studio in Beit Shemesh, Israel. This is an a cappella show. We did one last year where we didn't play any instruments, we just sang. And today is a special show. And today is a special show because it is the 20th yurtzeit of my father, Alexander Solomon. He passed away 20 years ago on this Hebrew date, which is the 29th of Tammuz. The 29th of Tammuz is one day before Rosh Chodesh Av, the new moon of Av, the new month of Av, which starts the 9 days and leads us into Tisha B'Av. All right? And so I thought that what we would do today, because it's the 20th anniversary of my father passing away, was we would talk a little bit about my father's life. You'll learn a little bit about him and consequently about how I became. Now, we are looking for some sort of sign that the sound is running and the sound is good. I believe it is. See if I can check this. There's no way to. I think it's good. Oh, there it is. Our associate producer has checked in. Yes. And today, of course, is New York Ranger Day. It has to be because my father was a Ranger fan, took me to a Ranger game, and this is Adam Fox night. Adam Fox, the Jewish Ranger player who won the Norris Trophy, is the first Jewish hockey player to ever win an award like this. And just happened. So, very, very appropriate for today's show. My father... that's good. Now we're getting everybody checking in that they can hear me. Okay, so you guys, let's get to it. I'll just do the quick paperwork. If you're watching from Facebook, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment, give us a like. If you're watching from the YouTube channels, which is the Schlock Rock YouTube channel or the Four Corners Project YouTube channel, subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment, and also give us a thumbs up. If you're watching from LinkedIn, definitely leave a comment, and if you're and a thumbs up. And if you're watching from Twitter, retweet. So everything good, and let's get started on the life of Alexander Solomon. But to get into the life of Alexander Solomon, we first have to go back a generation to my grandfather, or my Zaidi, Pesach Solomon, or Pesach Yehuda Solomon. He was born in 1895. Can you believe that? We're in the year 2021. He was born in 1895. And so that's 1895 is 5 years, and then it's 2021. It's 126 years ago he was born. It's unbelievable. So he got engaged to my grandmother, who was his first cousin, Malka Solomon, and Pesach Solomon. They got engaged to each other at 12 years old. That's the way it was done. Where was he born? Tarnów, Poland. All right? So Tarnów, Poland, they get engaged. They get married at 18. Now, meanwhile, Zaidi Pesach goes off to fight in World War I. Is he fighting for the good side? No. He was fighting for the losers. And that's where he lived. So he was fighting for the losers, and he almost got killed by his own commandant. He was a telephone operator fixer, meaning if there was a break in the phone lines, he had to find it and repair it in the field on the front. And one day there was a break in the phone line, and he went out to the field and he couldn't find the break. So he came back, and the commandant put a gun to his head and said, if you don't find that phone line, I'm going to kill you. And he went out, and thank God he found it. And then he realized he better leave. So him and his friends and his brothers, he had 3 brothers, him and his 3 brothers and his friends, they went to Pressburg, Austria, and from there in 1921 they arrive in Ellis Island in New York, and they live in East New York, which is in Brooklyn. It's a neighborhood in Brooklyn. Now, here's the interesting thing. It took him 5 years, he sends for his wife, because he's married already, Malka. So Bobby Malka, my grandmother, comes in 1926. So Bobby Malka, 1926. Zaidi Pesach gets to New York, 1921. They're now in East New York. And my father, Alexander Peretz in Hebrew, was born in 1928. Very interesting. Tom Lehrer was born April 9th, 1928, if you know who Tom Lehrer was, and he's 93 and he's still alive. And he was born 8 days before my dad. But my dad passed away 20 years ago when he was 73. Okay, so here we go. So my dad grows up in Brooklyn, in East New York, with his two younger brothers, and they sing harmony for Zaidi. Zaidi was a chazan, but he wasn't a chazan. He was what they call a bal tefillah, right? A bal tefillah is somebody who gets everybody else to sing. So he wasn't a cantor. He was a kind of like a point guard in basketball, where you're dishing off. You're making sure everybody's participating. And people have said he was one of the greatest bal tefillahs they ever heard. And my father and his two brothers would sing harmony for Zaidi. And what happened was my father gets older and he goes off he has to go into the Korean War. So my Zaidi takes my father to see the Shmelner Rebbe. Have you ever heard of the Shmelner Rebbe? No, nobody has. Or very few people have that I know of. Maybe there'll be somebody out there listening who knows what the Shmelner Rebbe is. But the Shmelner Rebbe, my Zaidi takes my father to see the Shmelner Rebbe, and he asks him this simple question. He has to go into the Korean War, into the U.S. Army. Should he go in as a chaplain or should he go in as a private? And the Shmelner Rav answers, he should go in as a private, because if he goes in as a private, they'll send him to France and Germany, and he won't see any action. If he goes in as a chaplain, they'll send him to Korea. And lo and behold, that's what he did. My father went in as a private, and he ended up in France and Germany. So my father now is in France and Germany for the Korean War, comes back, goes to Baruch College, gets his degree in accounting, becomes a CPA, works for the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service, as an international auditor for 33 years. And he gets married in 1958. He meets my mom on July 4th, 1956, at the Pine View Hotel. And they get married 2 years later, in 1958. And I'm born in 1961, and that's basically a little bit of an outline on his life. But my father's whole life was really music. So yes, he was an accountant, but he loved music. He was a chazan. He was a cantor. So my Zaidi passed it on. And not only was he a cantor, my Uncle Gus taught people who were tone deaf how to sing. My Uncle Julius was a cantor in Chicago. Chazanim. They were all chazanim. Music ran in the family, and Uncle Julius's kids are all musical and are all musicians. And it really music is in our genes, as they would say. So when I turn 18, I go to my father. My father calls me in, and he says he wants me to go to Juilliard to get my master's in music and become a full-time musician. And I say, Dad, how am I going to make a living? And I didn't listen to him. I went to Queens College and I majored in accounting, and I took a lot of concentration of music courses. Okay, so now you guys have a basic background of how we're now in 1979, but really it starts off before that, because my Zaidi Pesach passed away in 1970 when I was 9 years old. And I remember going to his house on Friday night with my father and my brother, and we would sing Kalbach songs. So we would sing, Elecha Hashem Ekra, V'el Hashem Etchanan, Elecha Hashem Ekra, V'el Hashem Etchanan, Shema Hashem V'chaneni, Hashem Eyeh Ozer Li. We would sing Kalbach songs on Friday night and other songs as well. And I knew all of my father's chazanut and my Zaidi's chazanut. My Zaidi actually wrote songs. We're going to do a couple of them here tonight for you guys as we, I think I've already spoken for 10 minutes. All right, so let's do our second song of the night right away. This is called the Solomon Niggin. The Solomon Niggin, rumor has it that my Zaidi heard the niggin from somebody on the street, learned it, and brought it into the family. And it goes like this. Na 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 da dum, na na dum na da dum, I da 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 dum, na da da dum, da da nine 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 da dum, na na nine nine da dum, nine 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 da da, nine 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 da dum, na na nine 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 da 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 dum, na da da dum, da 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 da. Da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, 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 da-da-da-da-dum, dun-dun-dun-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, hi-da-da-da-da-dum, hi-da-da-da-da-da-dum, hi-nine-nine-nine-da-dum, okay, the Solomon Niggin. Will we ever record that? Maybe. I don't know. We got some funny things for you that I wanted to play for you, to sing for you, and then we'll get back to cantorial. My father loved opera. He would always go around singing La Donne Mobile, right? Everybody knows that from Rigoletto. Of course you do. You all are, experts in Italian opera. And we also love the Nutcracker. So I wrote 2 schlock rock songs, which have never been recorded. So here we go. This is to La Donne Mobile. It's called Put Down the Mobile Phone. It goes like this. Put down the mobile phone, leave it charging at home. You've got to concentrate, praying in synagogue. Don't send any texts in shul, don't surf the internet. Try hard to meditate, it could change your fate. Don't take your mobile, you can prevent this. Work hard on praying, praying is fun. Praying, praying, praying is fun. Praying, praying is fun. Okay, that's your first. Put down the mobile phone. Next, the Nutcracker, even funnier. Goes like this. First you put your right sock on, then you put your left sock on, then you put your right shoe on, then you put your left shoe on, then you tie your left shoelace, then you tie your right shoelace. Now you are ready to start the day. All right. We gave you guys a little bit of a humorous break in between. Now, my father had a tremendous, tremendous philosophy on life. He was a big believer in God, big believer. He had a lot of emunah, a lot of bitachon. He had belief that God was involved with him every single day, and he passed that on to me. And he would always say that income rises to meet the expenses. No matter what your expenses were, you were going to get enough money to pay the bills. And he was right. My father, all of his life, had just the right amount of money to pay the bills. And he taught that to us. It was an amazing thing. And he also shares the same yurtzeit with Rashi. Today is the 916th anniversary of Rashi passing away. He passed away in 1105, and now it's 2021. So I believe that's 916 years. So we should sing, who was born in France and sent to yeshiva, studied in Worms, and on his return he founded a school and wrote commentaries. Everyone knows it's Rashi, whose words are written under the Chumash, the inside of every page of Talmud. whose three daughters married great scholars. Everyone knows it's Rashi. And Rashi was so concise, and in his own script did write. And if you want to know why, just look inside. Just look inside. Whose words are written under the Chumash, the inside of every page of Talmud. Whose three daughters married great scholars. Everyone knows it's Rashi. Everyone knows it's Rashi. Everyone knows it's Rashi. Rashi, sharing the same yurtzeit with my father. Okay, we've done a lot of songs already, but we're not done yet. We've got to do at least two more. I want to do a cantorial piece, and I want to do a niggin or a song that my Zadie wrote that passed on. It's over 100 years old. It's unbelievable. And it's called Mimkomcha. Let's start with that. So I got my Sidur here, see? And we are going to go to Mimkomcha in Kedusha. I don't really need the Sidur. I know the words by heart, but just in case, it goes like this. Mimkomcha malkeinu tofia v'timloch aleinu ki mechakim anachnu lach matai timoch b'tzion bekarov beyameinu Liolam vaed tishkon titgadel v'titgadesh b'toch Yerushalayim ircha ledor v'hador ulnetzach netzachim ve'einenu tihirena malchutecha kadavar Hamor b'shirei uzecha al yedei David Mishiach tzidkecha. Mimkomcha, from Zadie Pesach, passed on to my father, passed on to me. He definitely wrote that in the early 1900s, so way over 100 years that tune is. Way over 100 years old. Okay. Now, before we finish, I just want to thank Rabbi Ari Kahn and Rabbi Ari Marcus. You see, because every single year after my father passed away, I would have a shiur in the house. But after 18 years, we stopped that. And also it coincided with COVID coming, so that kind of ended that. So on the 20th year, we give Hakarat Tov. We recognize the good in Rabbi Ari Marcus, Rabbi Ari Kahn. They gave a class in honor of my father. And this shiur is in honor of my father and also for the Refu'ah Shlema of Alta Bat Ruda. Refu'ah Shlema, she should have a complete bill of health, and everybody else on my list, which I have, I believe, right here. Oh, how fortunate. Here we go. Shlomo Elimelech ben Rivka, Daniel ben Ita, Yosef Michael ben Yehudit Shoshana, Asher Enzel ben Devorah Malka, Yona Yosef Alter ben Miriam Yehudit, Shmuel Michael ben Malka, Rivka Fruma bat Leah Bela, Tzivya Chula bat Malya Devorah, Yosef Chanoch ben Shulamit Chaya, Binyamin Yaakov ben Chava, Yafa Efrona bat Henya Yehudit, Tova bat Esther, Dayan ben Chedva, Miriam Dodi bat Chana Yochevet, Yaakov Gavriel ben Malya Devorah, Chana Leah bat Malka Sima, Aliza bat Batsheva, Velva Razel bat Devorah, Miriam Yehudit bat Tovashena, Yehuda Meir ben Malka, Dov Ber ben Esther Razel, Chaya bat Faya, Sarida. So we wish everybody refuah shlema. We also wish people that need shidduchim, that need to get matches, they should get married, and also people that need help in parnasah. Okay, we're almost at the end. We've already done well over 20 minutes, I believe. Let me check. Let's check that time. Oh, no, we just hit 20 minutes. Okay. So let's finish up. I just want to tell everybody, go to www.fourcornersproject.org. Make a donation for the year. Keep us going. We've gotten some nice donations this week. We got to keep that going. We got to keep it rolling, as they say, because I'm working on 2 albums that are unbelievable. Also, we have the Daniel and Babylon project. If you want to get involved in that project, direct message me, private message me, email me. Important. Okay, so how are we going to end the show? Cantorial, Schlock Rock Cantorial. Did you ever think you'd see on Lenny Solomon Live a cantorial show? I didn't think so. Neither did I. So, but we got to do one last piece that my father used to sing all the time, and then we'll sign off. So here we go. And also next week, big week, 3 interviews for the 9 days. For those of you not familiar with what the 9 days are, it says in the Mishnah Brura, in the Shulchan Aruch, Misha Nichnas Av, when the month of Av comes in, Mima'atin b'masa uv'matan. You lessen your business. You also lessen simcha. You're not supposed to get overly happy. That's why there's no live music, really. So today is an a cappella show. And next week is going to be 3 interviews. Monday night, 3 p.m. East Coast, 10 p.m. Israel time, 8 p.m. UK time. Jordan Hirsch, trumpet player for Schlock Rock, Hall of Famer. Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Israel time, 3 p.m. East Coast, 8 p.m. UK, 5 a.m. Melbourne, 9 p.m. in South Africa. Brian Gelfand, keyboard player extraordinaire, Schlock Rock Hall of Famer, will be joining us. And then finally, Thursday night, Jonathan Rimberg in the studio. Again, 10 p.m. Israel time. So we have 3 10 p.m. starts or 3 p.m. New York time. Okay. Now, my father loved cantorial music, and this song comes from the Nishmat prayer, and it's called Adheina. Now, here it is. I'm not sure I'll do the whole thing, but we'll give you a taste, and then we'll sign off. Adheina zoron rachamecha v'lo azavono chasadecha v'al titcheinu v'al titcheinu Hashem Elokeinu lanetzach 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 al kein evorim shavilakta banu v'ruach u'neshama shenavachta v'yapeinu v'ruach u'neshama shenavachta v'yapeinu v'lashon asher samta b'finu hein hem yodi v'achum shach v'far v'yom v'tzivik t'shivim lichut shem chamalkeinu hein hem yodi v'achum shach v'far v'yom v'tzivik t'shivim shimecha malkeinu et shimecha et shimcha malkeinu ki rabeh lecha yodeh v'chol lashon lecha tishava v'chol berech lecha tichra v'chol koma lefanecha tishtachaveh v'chol levavot yiraucha v'chol kerev v'chol yizam shmecha chadav shekatuv kahal atzmotai tomarna Hashem umi mi umi chamocha Matzilani mechazak mimeno v'ani v'evyon mi goes low v'ani v'evyon mi goes low mi yid melach Umi yishvelach, umi yarach lach, hakel gadol gibor v'nara kehel elyon, konei shamayim v'aretz, nehalecha, ונשבחך ונפארך ונברך את שם קודשך כאמור לדוד. ברכי נפשי את השם וכל קרבי את שם קודשו את שם קודשו. Cantorial Schlock Rock. So everybody, in the craziest show that I've ever done, show number 127, a tribute to Alexander Solomon, Alexander Peretz, Ben Pesach Yehuda. Pesach Yehuda Solomon coming to New York in 1921, sending for his wife in 1926, my father being born in 1928. He got married in 1958. I was born in 61. And I grew up to be a musician, and I moved to Israel, which made my father and my Zaidi, who wasn't alive at the time when I moved, but my father said that my grandfather would have been very proud. And I would tell all of you guys out there, it's time for you guys to come to Israel. If you're watching from outside, you'll think about it. Well, at least you could visit. And we will see you. Have a great Shabbat. We will see you on Monday night with our first of 3 interviews next week with Jordan Hirsch, then Brian Gelfand, and then Jonathan Rimberg. Have a great Shabbat, everybody. Keep on schlocking. Have a wonderful day.